Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is great to see you again in another flow bass video. If you're new to this channel, my name's Eric and it's great to meet you. Now, if you guys have seen a few of my previous videos, you know I reviewed the Shimano Corrado K, and that video did so great, I thought I'd do another review for you guys. Now, someone did recommend to review the Dobyns Fury rod. Now, I haven't quite gotten to that yet. I haven't bought it yet, but don't worry, I will definitely review that for you. Now, what I've got in my hand here is another rod. This is the 13 Fishing OMEN Black. Now, funny story about how I actually got this rod. I was out fishing one day and I actually broke the first half of my rod in my window when I rolled up my window in my car. So, and basically that was my main rod. It was, you know, I personally use like a 7-foot to 7'2" medium heavy as my all-around rod that I just always fish with. So I was kind of out of a rod and I was going on a fishing trip, so I ran into Dick's Sporting Goods and I picked up the 13 Fishing OMEN Black. You know, while we're on that subject, I do want to mention that this video is not sponsored by 13 Fishing. It's not endorsed in any way. This is my own review. It's my own personal opinion. There's no outside factors that are, you know, swaying what I say to you guys. So, talking about this rod a little bit, you know, this is the 7'1" medium heavy. And right out of the gate, the first thing that I noticed when I pick up this rod is that the reel seat on this is amazing looking. This isn't like your typical Fuji reel seat that you see on rods that fall within that $100 price tag. This is a great reel seat. The little lock knob on this thing has a nice padded grip on it. You don't see that. It just adds that little extra touch that just makes it look like you have a higher end custom rod. Now, talking about the rod blank here, you know, one thing that I noticed right off when I pulled it off the shelf was that it has 12 eyes on this thing. Now, that seems like a lot to me personally. Most of my rods usually have about 9 or 10 guides on it, excuse me, not eyes, but guides. And you would think that would add a little bit to the weight of this rod, but it really doesn't. It's a really comfortable rod to use. Definitely doesn't get fatiguing at all when making multiple casts all day long. So it's really comfortable to use. So I really like that about the rod itself. And then the rod blank, you know, they advertise it as having like a Kevlar wrap to it. And you can feel that when you run your fingers across the rod blank. Does it add to the durability of the rod? You know, I really can't say. I definitely had some awesome fights with this rod and, you know, horsed in fish, and it performed flawlessly. Now, which I pretty much would expect for any rod within that $110 price tag. You know, it performs great, and like I said, I'm not boat flipping 10-pounders with this thing, so if I ever get the chance, I'm probably not going to do that. But yeah, it's held up great, and I've really, you know, horsed some fish in with it, so I really like that about this rod too. Very durable. Now, I do have to admit, I do have a concern about this rod, where the rod blank goes into the rod seat. It's kind of just, it looks like it's just kind of pressed in there. I have seen a video where the rod blank broke out of the rod seat, so that is a little bit disconcerting for me. But so far, I definitely haven't had any problems. I haven't done any like monster mic backflip hook sets for this to happen. So I am personally a little concerned about that. So I kind of do take it easy, but you know, so far with everything that I've thrown at it, I mean, the rod seat right here where the blank meets the rod seat definitely looks fine to me. So probably am not going to change up my, you know, how I use this rod at all just because of that fact, but I just wanted to point that out as well. So overall looks of this rod, I mean, you know, you got to look good when you're out there on the water. I mean, it's the OMEN Black. This is a black rod. It's all stealthed out. And then, you know, I've got that paired up with that Corrado K. Again, that stealth black look, this thing just, you know, looks like it's gonna murk some fish. So I really like that. It looks awesome. You know, black is definitely one of my more preferred colors. And yeah, it just looks like a great rod. It actually looks very high quality considering the price that they do charge for this thing. Now I wanna talk to you guys about something I don't like about this rod, and that is the cork grip. Now, hear me out, guys. You know, cork grips are great. They feel very comfortable in the hand. You know, when you get your hands wet, you know, if it starts raining on you and things like that, you get a lot of traction out of a cork grip. Unlike the foam grips, my hands definitely slip in the foam grips, but just these cork grips, you know, these things get filthy. Now, I've been fishing with this rod for probably a couple months now, and as you can see there, I've got black marks on the cork grip, so it's starting to look a little dirty. I'm sure nothing a little bit of very fine sandpaper couldn't sand down and take that down and make it look nice again. But guys, who wants to be sanding their grips? But in overall diameter, the grips are great. Now I will be changing these out to wind grips. So that's just me. I really like the wind grips. You know, they've got a ton of traction, definitely when they're wet, and they don't get filthy looking like cork. While we're on the subject of looks, what I really like is the little butt plate they have in here with the 13 fishing, and then it's got the part number written on there as well. So that's really cool. That's a little extra touch you don't normally see on these rods in this price range. So I really like that a lot. That's a pretty awesome feature. All right, now as far as usage goes with this particular setup, so, you know, depending on from manufacturer to manufacturer, you know, there's variances in what they consider, you know, medium heavy or extra heavy. You guys know the whole 9 yards. They all, you know, they don't feel the same from manufacturer to manufacturer. Now, when it comes to the 13 fishing OMEN Black, again, this is the medium heavy fast action. I forgot to mention it's fast action. This actually does feel like a medium heavy reel. And you know, it's got a really light tip so I can whip out, you know, little jerk baits and things like that perfectly fine. And then even bigger, heavier baits, like if I've got like a Gambler Big Easy with, you know, a 1/2 ounce or 3/8 ounce tungsten on there, sails it out there just fine. You know, I don't even worry about the rod blank breaking on some heavier baits, you know, heavier jigs and things like that. So yeah, it feels totally like a medium heavy. When you set the hook on a fish, you get an awesome hook set. And I mean, with the cork grips, you know, you get a good purchase on the reel and the rod, and you can crank back and just, you know, rip lips with this thing. So yeah, and then fighting the fish again, you know, the medium heavy, it definitely, you know, has that give in the upper half here, but a totally firm, you know, it's almost, it's not like a broomstick, the backbone of this thing, but definitely very firm, so you can have a lot of control fighting these fish. So yeah, like I was saying, for my personal preference, definitely this is what a medium heavy should feel like. Now in comparison, you know, and I'm not talking trash whatsoever, you know, Fitzgerald's rods are my personal favorite rods. Again, not sponsored by Fitzgerald. I just, you know, I love their gear. It's a Florida company. I like to support Florida companies. So is 13 Fishing, by the way. So there's something for you. But you know, I've been fishing Fitzgerald for a while. I've been using their Versa series, which is their lower end in the same price range as the OMEN Black.
Damn,
and
that's a snake.
that medium heavy doesn't really feel like a medium heavy. It just kind of, it feels like a medium heavy, but it's got a really fast, soft tip. And then it kind of, you know, loads up like a medium heavy normally would. So that, you know, is my comparison to this rod. This is definitely more firm. I feel like this is what it should feel like when you select a medium heavy rod. So guys, all in all, do I recommend the 13 Fishing OMEN Black? Yes, of course I do. It's a great price. You know, everybody's looking for that sweet spot, you know, that $100 rod, $100 reel, and the OMEN Black is definitely gonna be your $100 rod. At the time I purchased this, it's $110. You know, as you're watching this today, it could be months or a year from now, or even longer, and the price could be the same, it could be a little bit more. But just so you know, as I purchased this 2 months ago, what was that, August? It was $110, and I think it's a wonderful value and definitely a great rod to have in your rod stable. All right guys, so that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed my review. This is my opinion of this rod. Again, if you watched my other reviews, you know that I actually go out there and I fish these things before I talk to you about them. I don't just unwrap them, take them out of the box, and just read the specs off. Anybody can do that. I want to give you guys my personal opinion so you guys know if you're looking at this rod, you can hear what I have to say about it. Hopefully you're going to be able to make a more informed purchase decision after seeing this review to know if this is going to be the right choice for you before you go out and spend the investment. So guys, if you have any other items that you want me to review, drop that in the comments below. I'm more than happy to check out anything, whether it's rod, reel, baits, hooks, whatever. If it refers to fishing, I'll review it for you guys. So again, drop that in the comments below if you want to see anything. And guys, I appreciate you watching this video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button because I do this every single week. And you know, all the support that I've gotten thus far has been amazing. So with that being said, I appreciate each and every one of you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.